It's one of those difficult and prep-heavy DIYs that a lot of people just leave to the pros. And when you can't and you've got to do it, it hangs over you like a dark cloud, when in actual fact it hangs over you from the ceiling. In that oh-so-retro popcorn texture. It's that sprayed-on popcorn ceiling. And Mike Montgomery from Modern Builds showing us how to get rid of it like a pro. And first, you can see he taped and plastic sheeted everything off. That'll save a lot of time on cleanup. Then, in that backpack sprayer he had, using a mix of dish soap and water. It's used to wet the ceilings, allow them to soak for 15 to 20 minutes. He's got the respirator on. He's tested to make sure there's no asbestos in the property, and using a drywall knife to ensure it comes off in large sheets. Trying with the larger one, but not loving it. You want to make sure that if you notice any dust, you soak it a little more. You want to get that popcorn texture coming off, but you don't want any of the drywall coming away. So be careful, pay attention. And when it comes to the corners, you can use that drywall knife, but these handy multi-tools are incredible for all sorts of things. And you want to talk about how important prep is. That was the cleanup. Looking good. Now, for that first skim coat with 90-minute joint compound, a little wetter than usual, it'll be rolled on there with a paint roller and smoothed out once applied with a drywall knife. And the key, that first coat needs to be the thickest of all the coats that will go on. Don't worry about all the grooves and dings and divots. Those will be filled out as you go along. It's about gradual improvement in this situation. Looking good. Everything then dried. A second coat. And this time around, using an all-purpose mix, but the same technique to apply and then remove. Remember the two words, gradual improvement. Don't get stressed by small little nicks and dings. Those can be worked out no problem. Watch as it slowly rolled on and he applies even pressure, keeping the tool flush. Make sure to keep cleaning it as well. And in the end, you could use a sanding block on a pole like this, but Mike went for a cool tool. This awesome bagged sander with a massive wide disc, easy to keep flush to the ceiling, but again, a hand pole sander would work. It'll just take a little longer. This being used between the second and third coat. Some brooming and some sanding in the corners, then that second skim coat. Now filling all the final voids. Here you do not want to add any thickness. You're simply going to add a super thin layer and fill all those little nicks. With those fixes sorted out, onto any remaining spots that have been missed before everything being sanded to 240 grit with a sanding net. And that leaves a pretty amazing texture on it. The speed's on low, the pressure low as well, just keeping it flush with the ceilings. The corners then cleaned to 220 with a sanding sponge, a more delicate touch than any other electric tool. The cleanup, again, a breeze. That is how you remove popcorn ceilings like a pro, thanks to, of course, Mike Montgomery from Modern Builds.